£117 million to protect UK Golden Bell End churches and faith schools, which used to be illegal, from hate attacks. Yeah, you know what this is like? This is like finding a large hard lump on your testicles in the shower and then worrying about your ingrowing toenail. It's unbelievable that this is happening. I talked about the budget the other day and mentioned how it was completely preposterous, that we seem to be throwing money at all the wrong problems, and this is the icing on top of that foul-smelling, turd-based cake. This is the government equivalent of stepping over Kate Moss's emaciated, half-dead body in the gutter, because we all know she exists on rainwater and Tic Tacs, in order for the Chancellor to hand a £500 Greg's Bakery gift card to Diane Abbott. It's the exact opposite of what we're supposed to be doing. I'll read you the story and I'll tell you why now. Right then, preposterous, absolutely ludicrous, doesn't make any sense until you understand one easy fact that I will give you momentarily. However, let's read the story. More than £117 million will be spent to protect the Golden Bell End churches and schools and communities that have never been attacked by anyone over the next 4 years, the government says. Home Secretary James Cleverly, who has never said anything sensible in his entire worthless life, said the investment would give reassurance and confidence to the people who need it least. Yeah, weird that. I mean, I'm just riffing. Manchester Evening News Arena, 7-7, Borough Market, London Bridge. Those attacks were all carried out by one group against another, the unbelievers. The group who's doing all the attacking is getting all the money, and the groups who's the victims of these attacks are getting the square root of jack shit. So it doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. What about you? It will be spent on measures including CCTV cameras, alarms and fencing. Yeah, you need that. Definitely need that. You might as well put CCTV cameras, alarms and fences around my cock, because there's about the same likelihood of people lining up to grab hold of it. The announcement comes in response to concerns the Israel-Hamas conflict is fueling division in the UK. Now, I'm pretty neutral on that conflict. I don't care. I haven't got a dog in that hunt. But there's one group of people that, amongst all the rest of the stuff I've mentioned, also happened to fold up about 50,000 little girls above seedy, smelly kebab shops up and down the country. And I'll give you a clue. That group supports only one side of that argument. I haven't heard about any endemic grooming going on as a result of rabbis. I've never seen any blokes with big curly sideys and a yarmulke on lined up next to each other in a big photo on the BBC saying these 27 lamentable religious practitioners have all been found guilty of endemic grooming and their own mothers and sisters were driving them round the little girls' houses. I haven't seen that from the former, but I've definitely seen a bit of that from the latter in that conflict. Very strange that we're worrying about the perpetrators, isn't it? Mr. Cleverly said, nothing useful. The Prime Minister has made it clear we stand with the people in the UK that are frankly being a bit of a pain up the arse since the horrific attacks of October 7th. It follows Rishi Sunak's announcement last month of a similar package for Jewish communities. Oh, yeah, well, they get less. They get less, don't they? Again, never noticed any of them bayoneting any babies in the face in the last 20 years, and I've definitely never seen any of them blowing up any pop concerts, so it's strange how we're spending all that money on the group who seem to need the help least. Security Minister Tom Tuggantwat, also one of the most useless politicians in British history. I wouldn't let him run a lemonade stand. That is how incompetent Tom Tuggantwat is. Him, Tobias Elwood and Johnny Mercer are the holy trinity of blokes who ostensibly served in the military but managed to make everybody who's ever worn a uniform look like a knobhead. More than 30,000 people have been killed in Gaza since then. And this is our problem why. Anyway, so this story leads on from the one I told you a lot about a couple of weeks ago, whereby we seem to be throwing money at one particular group even though they don't seem to need the money. They seem to be doing fine. They seem to have all the protection from the police and the civil service and the authorities, which is why they got away with grooming kids for decades and nobody said anything about it. They're doing all right. If you can get conker deep in a collection of 10-year-olds and nobody will say anything about it, I think you are positively privileged in our society. But maybe I'm just being weird. And as for the reason why, I'll tell you why. The Tories know the time's up, they know they're done for, and they know one particular group's going to rise to prominence in the next few decades. So like all self-serving rats, that is the entirety of the House of Parliament, they're looking out for themselves and they're trying to appease the people that are going to be in power very shortly. That's why they're doing it. That's why they're throwing money at people who don't need any and worrying about the holy month of Ramadan, but mentioning nothing about any of the Christian holidays. And again, I don't care about any of them. I'm not a Christian. I'm a wishy-washy agnostic. But it's nakedly obvious to anybody with eyeballs what's going on here. It's blatant appeasement of the group that's going to have the whip hand in the next few years. That's why they're doing it. It makes no sense. It's completely irrational. And they are all beneath our contempt. They are lower than a rattlesnake's ballsack. You know it, and I know it. The worst people on earth are running the show. But that's just what I think. If you consider yourself to be amongst the great and the good that read the BBC and the Guardian, and therefore you think up is down and left is right, please tell me why I'm wrong in the comments. I love reading drivel. All right, thanks for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. It's a short one today because I spent 20 minutes filming that once before, and then StreamYard crashed and I lost the whole thing. So you'll have to have a short video today. I apologise. Thanks for watching. See you all very soon. Toodle pip. Cheers.